You've tried everything to feel put together, and somehow your hair still makes you feel a decade older than you actually are. Here's the truth nobody at your salon will say out loud. I research worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we're perfecting 5 outdated hairstyles making you look older. Replace them with these, and by part 3 you'll want to pause and look in the mirror. I mean it. We're covering 5 specific cuts that are secretly aging you every single day, and one of them is probably sitting on your head right now. The first one, I see it on almost every woman who thinks she's playing it safe. Let's go. 1. The overgrown chin-length bob. Have you ever kept the same haircut for so long that you forgot it was even a choice? That safe little chin-length bob you've worn since your 40s feels comfortable, but comfortable and flattering stopped being the same thing years ago. Here's the part nobody explains. When this bob grows out even slightly past the jaw, it lands at the heaviest, least forgiving point of your face. It widens the jawline, drags the eye downward, and somehow ages you before you've even said a word. This one is everything. The truth is, most women don't even realize it's happened because the change is gradual. An inch here, an inch there, until one day the mirror looks unfamiliar. So here are the 5 fixes that actually change this. First, ask your stylist for soft face framing layers around the jaw instead of one straight blunt line, because layers break up the heaviness that ages you. Second, and this is the one I whisper to every friend who'll listen, add a slight angle front shorter than back so the eye travels up instead of down. Third, texture matters more than length. A few strategically thinned pieces near the ends soften the whole silhouette instantly. Fourth, if your hair has any wave at all, ask for a cut that respects that texture instead of fighting it with a blunt line that only works on pin-straight hair. Fifth, don't be afraid of a slightly longer version reaching just past the jaw. Length gives you room to add movement a chin skimming cut simply can't hold. If you're still wearing that flat, blunt chin bob, swap it for soft graduated layers with a subtle angle, and the difference shows the moment you walk out of the chair. If you're still parting it dead center out of habit, swap to a slightly off-center part. It instantly opens your whole face. Maintenance is simple here. A trim every 8 weeks keeps those face framing layers doing their job before the shape grows out and flattens again. You deserve a cut that moves with you, not one that sits there like a helmet. And honestly, the women who make this one swap alone tell me strangers start complimenting their hair again within weeks. That's not a coincidence. That's architecture working for your face instead of against it. Because here's the thing about the next mistake. It's hiding in plain sight, and it's happening to women who think they've already done everything right. Part 2, the flat, all one length long style. This one is personal because I fought this exact hairstyle for years before I understood what it was doing to me. Long hair kept at one uniform length, no layers, no shape, just growing straight down like it did in your 20s. Here's the surprising truth. It's not the length that ages you. It's the absence of internal structure. Because flat long hair pulls your whole face downward with it. Gravity is not on your side here, and neither is a cut with zero movement built into it. You've probably tried more product to fix this. More serum, more mousse, and it never really worked, did it? That's because volume at this stage of life comes from cutting technique, not from another bottle promising miracles. So let's fix it 5 ways. Ask specifically for internal layering, not just face framing pieces on top, because that's what creates lift from underneath rather than on the surface. Next, a long layer starting at the cheekbone opens your whole face instead of curtaining it. Third fix, and I say this gently. If your ends are one thick blunt line, that weight is pulling everything flat. Thin those ends out. Fourth, ask about a slight curtain effect at the front, parted softly. It frames rather than hides. Fifth, and this one surprises people. A soft curl or wave pattern added during styling gives one-length hair the texture a blunt cut alone cannot provide. If you're still asking for just a trim every time, swap that request for layers throughout, because a trim alone will never solve a structural problem. If you're still wearing it razor straight every day, swap in a loose wave occasionally. It instantly reads as more youthful and less severe. Yes. That's simple. Maintenance tip. Ask your stylist to relayer every 3 to 4 months, Because layers grow out faster than blunt lines and lose their lift quietly. Your natural elegance was never the problem. The cut just wasn't built to show it off. I've watched women in their 70s keep this length and look absolutely radiant, simply because the internal shape was finally right. And the next mistake on this list? It's the one that convinces women to go shorter for all the wrong reasons. 3. The severe overcropped pixie. Why do so many women over 60 believe short automatically means younger? That belief has convinced countless women to chop into a severe, overly cropped pixie, expecting freedom, and instead finding a cut that exposes every feature it was supposed to soften. Here's the key insight most stylists won't say plainly. A pixie cut too short at the sides removes the very softness your face now relies on to look balanced. Without hair there to gently frame your jaw and temples, everything reads harder, sharper, more severe than you intended. You needed to hear this. It's not that short hair ages you. It's that a pixie with zero length left to shape or soften becomes rigid instead of elegant. Here's how to fix it without growing out the whole cut. Ask for length left longer on top, at least 3 to 4 inches, so there's enough hair there to style with soft movement rather than lying flat and severe. Second, request soft feathered pieces around the temples specifically, because that's the exact spot that needs the most softening at this age. Third, avoid razor-sharp precision edges everywhere. A little textured, undone finish reads far more elegant than crisp geometric lines. Fourth fix, and this one matters more than people think. Keep a little length at the nape. A severe shaved neckline can feel harsh rather than chic. Fifth, ask your colorist about soft dimensional color rather than one flat shade. Since a cropped cut has less length to carry visual interest, and color does that work instead. If you're still asking for short and easy, swap that phrase for short with softness. Your stylist will cut completely differently. If your sides are currently shaved close, swap to a slightly longer, textured side that still feels low maintenance but far gentler on your features. Maintenance here is simple but non-negotiable. Trim every 5 to 6 weeks because a pixie loses its softening shape the fastest of any cut on this list. This is the part where I ask you to actually pause and look in the mirror, because this swap alone changes how your whole face reads. Honestly, a friend of mine made this exact change and her granddaughter told her she looked cool. Not grandma cool, just cool. That's the difference softness makes. But there's a fourth mistake waiting, and it has nothing to do with the cut itself. It's about the color sitting on top of it. 4. The flat, uniform silver gray, no dimension. Going gray was supposed to feel like freedom. So why does your hair sometimes look dull instead of luminous? This mistake isn't about going gray at all. It's about going gray in one flat, uniform tone with zero dimension underneath it. Here's the truth about that. Solid single-tone gray reflects light evenly across the whole head, which sounds nice but actually flattens your whole face rather than lighting it up. Real silver hair that photographs beautifully almost always has subtle variation. Lighter pieces near the face, slightly deeper tones underneath. Without that variation, gray can read as tired rather than elegant, and that's a technique problem, not a color problem. This one is everything. So here are 5 ways to bring your gray to life. Ask your colorist for soft face framing highlights just a shade lighter than your base gray, because that's what catches the light and brightens your whole complexion. Second, request a gentle low light underneath, one shade slightly deeper. It creates the depth flat gray simply doesn't have on its own. Third, and this surprised me the first time I heard it, a champagne or pearl toner can warm gray hair just enough to flatter your skin without removing the silver you love. Fourth fix, avoid overtoning with pure ash tones every single visit, because that can strip warmth your skin actually needs to look radiant. Fifth, ask about a gloss treatment between color appointments. It refreshes shine and dimension without the commitment of a full color session. If you're still asking your colorist for all one color, please swap that request for some dimension, please, and watch how differently the light hits your face. If you're toning pure silver ash every time, swap in occasional warmth. Your skin will thank you the moment you see the mirror. Maintenance tip. A gloss every 6 to 8 weeks keeps dimension fresh between full color visits, and it's far gentler on your hair than repeated full lightening. Your bone structure deserves hair color that works with it, not flat color that competes with it. I've had women tell me they finally stopped feeling washed out in photographs after this one change, and that reaction never gets old to hear. There's one more mistake left, and it might be the sneakiest one of all, because it happens every single morning without you even noticing. 5. The heavy, helmet-like blowout. Let's end with the one hiding in almost every special occasion photo you own. That big, stiff, heavily sprayed blowout that looks polished for exactly 1 hour, and then sits there like a helmet for the rest of the day. Here's why this happens more than you'd think. Heavy round brush blowouts with maximum hairspray were trained into an entire generation as the definition of done. But rigid, uniform volume with no movement reads as dated instantly, no matter how shiny or smooth it looks in the mirror. Have you ever wondered why this never quite works the way you want it to? The answer is movement, or rather, the total absence of it. Here are 5 fixes that bring this style into today. First, ask for a looser round brush technique that leaves soft bend rather than a tight rigid curl at the ends. Second, use significantly less hairspray, just enough to hold shape, since heavy product weight is exactly what creates that helmet effect. Third fix, and this one matters. Finish with a cool shot of air from the dryer instead of more heat. It locks in shine without stiffness. Fourth, run a small amount of lightweight oil through the ends after styling. It softens the finish instantly without weighing hair down. Fifth, tousle gently with your fingers once you're finished styling, because perfectly untouched hair is what reads as dated, not imperfect movement. If you're still finishing with 3 passes of aerosol spray, swap in 1 light mist of a flexible hold formula instead. If you're still setting your whole head in the same size roller or barrel, swap in varied sizes for natural, believable movement. Yes, that's simple. Maintenance tip. Refresh with dry shampoo at the roots rather than restyling the whole head daily. It keeps movement alive instead of flattening it back down. This is the fix that made a friend of mine stop mid-conversation and ask what was different about me. Your beautiful eyes deserve to be the first thing someone notices, not a rigid sprayed silhouette around them. And if you've made it this far, you now know all 5 hairstyles quietly aging you, and every single fix to reverse them starting today. You just learned 5 hairstyles quietly aging you and exactly how to fix every single one. Something most women spend years figuring out through trial and error alone. You didn't just watch a video. You changed how you'll look tomorrow morning. Tell me, which of these 5 outdated styles were you still wearing without realizing it? Next time, we're tackling the one hair color mistake that adds 10 years the moment you sit down in the chair. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.